cold here in Tennessee. Gotta get in the greenhouse. Woo! I just didn't want to stay cooped inside today, so I'm going to come out here and do some stuff in the greenhouse. And I really need to go out and get some supplies, but they're closed today, so I thought I would just kind of prep for some stuff that I'm wanting to do. And one of the first things is get this shelf ready for seed starting. I would love to clean out my flower garden today, get all that out of there and start working on filling up these raised beds with some compost that I have down by the chicken coop. But it's pretty chilly today, so I don't know. High today 42, and we're not there yet. I've got my stove running because there's really no sun, so it's not going to warm up a whole lot in here unless the clouds break. So we'll see. I'm gonna have to find a place for these. These are my arrowhead plants. These would be nice near a window in your house. And this right here is a spider plant, which has grown a lot since I bought it. It needs to be propagated because there's probably several in here that I could go ahead and make new pots from. And this one too. This is a walking iris. Look at it. New plants. All you do is set this on top of the soil. Look at that. Super cool. But I got to get these out of the way. Now I've got a pineapple growing right here, and I propagated that from an actual pineapple top, and it's been sitting down in water for several months now and starting to root really good. I decided to put my little lifesaver propagations in here. I think they'll be good here because they're going to get a little bit of relief from the sun. Now they're okay in full sun, but you'll notice they'll turn kind of purple colored. I have to move my plants around in the greenhouse depending on, you know, what stage of growth they're in, what season it is. There's a lot of different areas in the greenhouse that are kind of different climates for plants. Some are, you know, full shade, some are dappled light, some are full light, and then there's different temperature ranges. It depends on if you're like propagating something, you don't want it to be in full sun, so I'll put it over here on this side. I may put it on a lower shelf that's not directly under my plant lights. I might put it under a bigger plant to shade it. And then some plants, once they get past that new propagation stage, they can move out a little further. Some even love the full sun. So I just kind of look at my plants based on what colors they're expressing. I can tell, you know, if they've got too much sun, if they've not got enough, if they need more water. So, and that's just based on, you know, I think experience of having plants over several years and watching them and how they respond to different things. So I've put a lot of those arrowheads on the bottom, which looks really cool. They kind of fill that in. And then I'll find the spot for this. And then I've got to get out and get some more soil because I don't have enough to propagate everything I'm wanting in their own little pots. But that's still on my list of things. And I'm going to get this area cleaned up over here because I've been wanting to do that for a long time. So I think I found some containers that I'm going to use to put my soil in and then my sand, and go out and get sand because, like I said, I found somewhere that has it, and we'll go do that hopefully tomorrow and pick up the pots. And I've also been eyeballing some pretty like clay pots, ceramic pots on Marketplace. Somebody has some that I was kind of reaching out to. I want to put some out front to put some bulbs down into. I really need to get those in the ground if I'm going to do them. All right, now that I'm in the middle of all this moving, I'm picking up plants that I see that need to be propagated. And this one right here, the Wandering Jew, and it is a variegated variety, which is super beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and repot it because the soil in here is just old. It needs some sprucing up. It would probably really appreciate some more nutrients in there. So I'm gonna do that and get it full looking because it was just kind of back on my shelf, kind of neglected a little bit, but not really. But it was in the back and it just kind of started growing toward my lot and just, it needs to be repotted. So I'm gonna do that really quick. So all these pieces I cut from it, I'm going to repot closely together to just kind of thicken it up and make it look nice. Could actually probably use a bigger pot, but it'll look nice and full this way. I think that'll be a good spot for it. Alright, so these are two of my heat mats, and I have them plugged up here. I've got timers up here for my lights. My heat mats, I'll keep them on all the time so the seeds can sprout up really good. I've got domes I'll put over these things to keep the humidity in. But I'm going to go ahead and get some of these little pots filled up with soil so we can get ready for the seeds to be dropped in. I keep aloe all over my greenhouse. I have really big pots of it. I have different varieties just kind of sitting everywhere. I do try to propagate them every time they have like a little pup. I use these things for medicinal purposes. I mean, if you have like a burn or a cut or dry skin, lots of things you can use aloe for. It's way better than the aloe you can buy in the store. I had a burn on my back from a firework this year, and crazy story, but we'll not get into that now. I had some aloe like you can buy at the grocery store in one of those tubes like for sunburns and stuff, and my husband rubbed it on there and it instantly like set my back on fire. It just burnt my skin. So I didn't do that anymore. I decided to come down the greenhouse and break one of these open. It's got gel in there and you can just rub that directly on the burn and it does not hurt. So that tells me the stuff at the store has a lot of chemicals in it that's something I don't need to put on my skin. I'll break one of these off, put it in like a Ziploc bag, and just keep using it until it's all gone. And it'll callus over and grow new leaves. Here's one of my aloe plants, and that is a ton of aloe in there. And it just keeps growing new plants, so I'll just propagate it. I've got some down here growing, and you can see where I've used it. See how it calluses over. I've got some down there. So it's very useful. Very, very useful. My husband bought me these little pots a couple years ago at an old greenhouse, and they weren't using them. And I think he got a whole bunch of them for like $80. I mean, we have a humongous box of them. Different sizes, and I just reuse them every year to start my seeds in. I use a little feed scooper to get my soil. When I get my containers, I'm going to buy me another one to keep one full time in all of them. I'm all finished. Now all I gotta do is plant the seeds, which I will probably work on that today or tomorrow. I've got these little domes right here that I can put over it, and you can kind of control the humidity by opening up these little vents right here, closing them. I'll take you guys to the nursery whenever I go tomorrow, and we'll see what all they have. I like that place. It's really neat inside, so we'll go do that. I've never started stuff this early for my garden, so it's purely going to be an experiment. Now, if it fails and the tomatoes start looking bad, or they don't make it until April when I put them in the ground, then I can always just direct sow. One of the reasons why I wanted to try this was because I don't usually get tomatoes until after July 4th. We usually try to get them by July 4th around here, but last year I didn't have any by then. It was more mid-July toward the end. And I just thought that was kind of a long way out for, you know, having nice fresh tomatoes to eat during the summer. So hopefully this will jumpstart that. So I'm going to try this. Fingers crossed it's going to work. I'll keep you guys updated on the progress of their growth. And I know that once they get, you know, to a certain point, I'll have to repot them again and probably take them over to this side of the greenhouse where they're going to get a lot of sun and heat. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. Only a couple months of winter, and then we're headed into the spring season, which just makes my heart happy. I'll be moving this stuff off of this shelf too. These are just, like I said, propagations and just some overstock of some succulents that I need to get repotted. We'll be moving over here to this side, and this is going to be my flower shelf. I love flowers, not just because they're so beautiful, but that is one reason. But two, they are so beneficial to everything else that grows in your garden. They bring in pollinators, bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, all those kind of things that we need to grow the garden. Good morning. I have been needing to get out and go to some of the local nurseries and get some supplies for my greenhouse. So I'm headed out. I'll take you guys along and see what I can come up with. Arrived. Let's do this. this stuff.
I'm going.
Cool little succulent collection. Oh, some peppers. Look at that. Their crown of thorns is blooming. Mine's not in bloom right now. Ooh. Wow. I don't know what kind of peppers those are, but I'm not going to touch them. Done that before. Ruby necklace. Got one of those. Actually, mine's in bloom right now. Theirs looks like it has been. I love ferns. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. That looks like my arrowhead plant. It's got a little bit different color to it, though. Oh, beautiful. It's gorgeous in this lighting. All right, I've made it back home, finally. I've got some supplies for the greenhouse. Oh, the sun's come out and it's nice and warm in here today. Love it. I got some tomato seeds, but there wasn't a lot of seeds just because they haven't got really their shipment in for their new seeds, but they did have the 50% off, which I always love to get those because the germination is still really decent on, last year's seeds. But I ended up getting some San Marzano tomatoes, which I love. They're great for canning. They're definitely a different shape. I had those a couple years ago and didn't grow them last year and wished I had of, so I'm going to start those. I've got a beefsteak and then just some of my old ones from last year that I saved. And I've got some flower seeds. I've got impatiens, petunias, and then pansies. I got some banana peppers, peperoncini. I did not grow those last year and I was upset because I love these. I have a really good brine for these and they're just delicious in casseroles or just eating them by themselves or with a sandwich. So I'm doing that, but I'm gonna get these started. And I have got my greenhouse a little bit out of order. That is because over here in this area, I'm gonna bring some containers in. Now I have this one under my house, but I want one for pellets, one for soil, and one for sand. So I found these today at one of our local box stores, Rural King. They were actually on sale. I think these will work really good for that. And then my husband picked me up some sand, which it is wet because you buy these. The sand is like at a bulk place. They keep it outside. So it's been raining and it weighs a ton. So I may get it inside here and I may not until one of my boys comes home. I'm gonna figure out where I want to place everything. I have got to shed this jacket. It's 80 in here. I can't do 80 right now with the Carhartt jacket on. I've decided to put these here. I'm going to put soil in this one. I'm going to put sand in this one, but the sand weighs a bajillion pounds, so I'm going to wait till Eli gets home and he's going to carry it in here for me. But I think I'm going to leave this cart here and I'm going to just leave an open tub up here just to scoop pellets from, because if I put them down in here, we're just going to be bending over, scraping them out of the bottom, trying to get them all out, and I think this will work better. We get to the bottom of this, we can just kind of lift them right over here and pour them in that. But I think it's a little more organized. Next is we're going to open some of these seeds up. I'm going to get these containers over here. We're going to start putting these seeds in. All right, I hope you guys are having an awesome new year and a wonderful and blessed day, and I hope to see you guys very soon on the next episode.